各位与会的贵宾以及现场的观众朋友，欢迎莅临2024第6届唐奖颁奖典礼。让我们掌声欢迎今天出席的贵宾。
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2024 Tang Prize Award Ceremony. Now, please join me in welcoming all the distinguished guests.
首先，欢迎国立台湾大学讲座教授叶俊荣
Chair Professor of National Taiwan University, 叶俊荣。
欢迎中央研究院院士王德威
Academician of Academia Sinica, David Derwei Wang.
欢迎中央研究院院士张文昌
Academician of Academia Sinica, 张文昌。
欢迎中央研究院院士刘兆汉
Academician of Academia Sinica, 刘兆汉。
接下来，让我们欢迎唐奖教育基金会执行长陈振川
CEO of the Tang Prize Foundation, 陈振川。
欢迎唐奖教育基金会董事尹崇尧
Board member of the Tang Prize Foundation, 尹崇尧。
欢迎唐奖教育基金会创会董事暨中央研究院前院长翁启惠
Founding board member of the Tang Prize Foundation and former president of Academia Sinica, 翁启惠。
各位来宾，现在让我们一同起身欢迎唐奖第6届的得奖人入场。
Ladies and gentlemen, please now rise and join me in welcoming the 2024 Tang Prize laureates.
唐奖第6届生技医药奖得奖人严斯祖尔霍斯特教授。
2024 Tang Prize laureate in Biopharmaceutical Science, Professor Jens Juhl Host.
唐奖第6届生技医药奖得奖人司维特兰那莫依索夫教授，领奖代表人杜克大学医学院名誉教授黄福蔡。
Professor Fulton Huang, representing the 2024 Tang Prize laureate in Biopharmaceutical Science, Professor Svetlana Moisov.
唐奖第6届生技医药奖得奖人乔尔哈本能教授，领奖代表人中央研究院院士王惠君。
Professor Wang Huijun, representing the 2024 Tang Prize laureate in Biopharmaceutical Science, Professor Joel Habener.
唐奖第6届法治奖得奖人玛丽罗宾逊教授。
2024 Tang Prize laureate in Rule of Law, Professor Mary Robinson.
唐奖第6届汉学奖得奖人许倬云院士，领奖代表人国立中央大学荣誉教授李建中。
Professor Li Jianzhong, representing the 2024 Tang Prize laureate in Sinology, Professor 许倬云。
唐奖第6届永续发展奖得奖人奥马尔雅基教授。
2024 Tang Prize laureate in Sustainable Development, Professor Omar Yagi.
非常欢迎各位得奖人以及贵宾，请各位就座。
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
谢谢台北爱乐管弦乐团以及指挥林天吉先生。
Thank you to the musicians from Taipei Philharmonic Orchestra and conductor Mr. Lin Tianji.
各位与会贵宾以及现场的观众朋友，欢迎莅临第6届唐奖颁奖典礼。唐奖的含义是出自于盛唐之世。唐朝是东西方文明交汇，在政治、经济、文化以及科技发展的全盛时期。它兼容各种文化的胸怀和气度，正是我们唐奖所代表的精神。
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2024 Tang Prize Award Ceremony. In title and in spirit, the Tang Prize pays homage to the Chinese dynasty of the same name and celebrates that period's richness in culture, liberal atmosphere, and progress in technology and economic development. It was also during the Tang Dynasty that Eastern and Western cultures began an unprecedented exchange.
面对当前全球化的进步与发展，唐奖以中华文化数千年的涵养，从新视野与新思维注入实际的行动与思考，在人类享受文明的丰厚果实与科技所带来的便利之余，亦面临气候变迁、贫富差距以及社会道德式微等种种考验。
In the advent of industrialization and globalization, humanity has greatly enjoyed the conveniences brought about by science and technology. Yet humanity also faces a multitude of critical environmental, social, cultural, and ethical challenges on an unparalleled scale, such as climate change, inequality, and moral degradation.
为了鼓励世人重新省思永续发展的中庸之道，尹衍良博士在2012年成立了唐奖，设置永续发展、生技医药、汉学以及法治4大奖项，不分种族、不分性别、不分国籍，遴选出对世界具有创新的实质贡献以及影响力的成就者。
Against this backdrop, Dr. Samuel Ying established the Tang Prize in 2012 to encourage individuals across the globe to chart the middle path to achieving sustainable development by recognizing and supporting contributors for their revolutionary efforts in the 4 major fields of sustainable development, biopharmaceutical science, Sinology, and rule of law. The Tang Prize is global in reach, with laureates selected on the basis of the originality of their work, along with their contributions to the society, irrespective of their ethnicity, gender, or nationality.
今天我们非常荣幸能够跟第6届唐奖的得奖人齐聚一堂，也希望能够透过今天的典礼，将唐奖得奖人的卓越贡献发扬光大。
Today, we are graced by the presence of the 2024 Tang Prize laureates, who are leaders and visionaries in their respective fields, as we gather here to celebrate their achievements and contribution.
在颁奖典礼的一开始，让我们有请财团法人唐奖教育基金会陈振川执行长致开幕词。
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming CEO of the Tang Prize Foundation, Dr. Chen Zhenchuan, to deliver the opening remarks.
Esteemed Tang Prize laureate, families, and distinguished guests, on behalf of Dr. Samuel Ying, founder of the Tang Prize, I warmly welcome you all to the 2024 Tang Prize Award Ceremony. Since proudly announcing the Tang Prize laureates in June, we have been diligently curating Tang Prize Week to amplify their positive influence and inspire further contribution to a better world. It is with great joy that we now celebrate these laureates at this grand award ceremony. Our world faces a multitude of crises: the acceleration of global warming, frequent mega disasters, infectious disease, widening inequalities, and geopolitical conflicts. The devastating consequences disproportionately impact the world's most vulnerable. Illustrating the critical juncture we face. How can we restore order amidst this chaos and ensure a path toward the peace and sustainable development? These are the defining questions of our time. Dr. Yin, our founder, eloquently stated that the 10 Prize inspire talent individuals or organizations, engage in research and practice, and share knowledge, empowering them to become driving force for human civilizations and global sustainable development. The 10 Prize is not merely recognition. It's a beacon of hope, inspiring positive change. To address the pressing challenges of our time, the 10 Prize focus on sustainable development across 4 categories: sustainable development, biopharmaceutical science, Sinology, and rule of law. Our 39 laureates, including 3 NGOs, have demonstrated exceptional professionalism and conscience, developing groundbreaking technologies, advancing public health, fostering cultural exchange, and championing human rights and global justice. Their contributions are immeasurable, and we are deeply grateful for their dedication. We believe their insight will guide us through these turbulent times and invite all who share our visions to collaborate in building a bright future. In closing, we extend our appreciations to the 10 Prize Selection Committee, led by its president, Dr. Qu. Congratulations to all the 10 Prize laureates who were honored today. We wish you all good health, happiness, and peace. Thank you.
谢谢陈执行长的致辞，请回座。
Thank you, Professor Chen. Please be seated.
唐奖的提名以及评选的重责大任是交由唐奖评选委员负责，以提名者的原创性、影响力以及对社会的贡献作为遴选标准。现在，我们有请唐奖评委会总召集人、中央研究院院士钱许致辞。
Tang Prize nomination and laureate selection is conducted by the Tang Prize Selection Committee, who base their decisions on candidates' originality, influence, and contribution to the greater society. Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you President of the Tang Prize Selection Committee, Academician of Academia Sinica, Qian Xu.
Thank you, Dr. Chen. The esteemed Tang Prize laureates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The Tang Prize was established by Dr. Samuel Yin in 2012 as an international award to recognize and encourage innovative research in sustainable development, biopharmaceutical science, Sinology, and rule of law, with the aim of creating another golden era for humankind, akin to that of the Tang Dynasty more than a millennium ago. Tang Prize is now recognized worldwide as a major international award. For each category of Tang Prize, we have a selection committee of outstanding leaders who make the selections with objectiveness, fairness, and professionalism, treating all races, gender, and nationalities as equals. Over the years, the Tang Prize has selected laureates with outstanding creativity and superb contributions to civilization of the world. Today, we celebrate the award of 2024 Tang Prize to 6 superb laureates. Professor Omar M. Yagi for Sustainable Development, Professors Joe Francis Habener, Jens Joel Host, and Svetlana Moyasov for Biopharmaceutical Science, Professor许倬云for Sinology, and Professor Mary Robinson for rule of law. Their marvelous accomplishments have contributed importantly to people's health, science, society, and humanity. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the selection committees chaired by Professors Zhaohan Liu, Wenchang Zhang, David Dewey Wang, and Wenzhen Zhang for their outstanding work in selecting the superb laureates, and to the Tang Prize Foundation staff, led by Dr. Jesse Chen, for their excellent administrative support. In closing, I wish to express my warmest congratulations to the laureates for your splendid contributions in addressing the challenges of sustainability of our Earth and major issues in people's health, justice, and peace, thus amplifying the spirit of the Tang Prize to benefit humankind. Thank you.
谢谢钱院士的致辞。
Thank you, Professor Qian.
唐奖所奖助的永续发展奖项，目的是在表彰对人类永续发展所做的特殊而且重大的贡献，尤其是指经由科学与技术的创新与发展所缔建的贡献。
The Tang Prize in Sustainable Development recognizes those who have made extraordinary contributions to the sustainable development of human societies, especially through groundbreaking innovations in science and technology.
2024年唐奖永续发展奖颁发给奥马尔雅基教授，请观赏得奖人介绍短片。
The 2024 Tang Prize in Sustainable Development is awarded to Professor Omar Yaghi. Ladies and gentlemen, now a video about the Tang Prize laureate in sustainable development.
This young boy, beaming with joy, is Omar Yaghi, growing up in Amman, Jordan. He was tasked with collecting water whenever he could. At the age of 10, he discovered a book by chance in a library and encountered the beauty of molecules. He was totally captivated.
I felt like I am being drawn by those molecules, right? It's almost as if I met another person and I fell in love. I was drawn by them, and they entered my heart.
This experience plunged Yaghi into the magical field of molecules. He shattered tradition and embracing innovation using a Lego-like approach combining metal ions with organic linkers, and pioneered reticular chemistry. The metal organic frameworks, MOFs, he created are incredible. They are highly porous, tiny like a sugar cube, that somehow encompasses an entire football field. They are remarkably absorbent. Studies confirm, without any external force, they can harvest water even from desert air, which holds profound meaning for him.
For me, it was powerful. That meant that everyone in the world potentially can have their own device.
MOFs could be designed in countless ways, offering infinite possibilities. Besides water, other substances can be captured as well, such as carbon dioxide and methane. Now, Professor Yaghi embraces AI technology, seeking to accelerate the fight against global warming.
He moves chemistry, climate, and sustainability and the world forward with his science.
Beyond numerous hours in the lab, Yaghi finds joy in gardening. His backyard is a haven of carefully cultivated plants, once rooted in the desert, now blossoming in full glory. Yaghi's dedication to nurturing his passions offers a beacon of hope for a sustainable future for all humanity.
有请永续发展奖评委会召集人刘兆汉院士介绍得奖人。
Introducing the Tang Prize Laureate in Sustainable Development is Chair of the Selection Committee, Professor Liu Zhaohan. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Liu to the stage.
Distinguished Tang Prize laureates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor for me to introduce laureate of the 2024 Tang Prize for Sustainable Development, Professor Omar M. Yaghi. He is currently the James and Neil J. Tratter Chair Professor of Chemistry at UC Berkeley, and he is also the founding director of the Berkeley Global Science Institute. Professor Yaghi has established a new field of chemistry, the reticular chemistry. It leads to new ways to make ultra-porous metal organic frameworks and covalent organic frameworks. These new classes of materials have opened up new solutions to some of the urgent current challenges to achieving a sustainable future for our planet, namely clear air, clear energy, and clear water. Through the Berkeley Global Science Institute, which he founded, Professor Yaghi has developed unique mentoring programs to help hundreds of young researchers in countries from the global south. Help them to start their own research careers in their own countries. Professor Yaghi has received numerous prestigious awards and recognitions, including the Wolf Prize in Chemistry and membership in the U.S. Academy of Sciences. The Tang Prize in Sustainable Development is awarded to Professor Yaghi for extraordinary contributions to sustainable development with his pioneering metal organic and other ultra-porous frameworks that can be tailored for carbon capture, hydrogen and methane storage, as well as water harvesting from desert air. Congratulations, Professor Yaghi. Thank you.
谢谢刘院士，请刘院士留步。
Thank you, Professor Liu. Please remain on stage.
接下来我们要颁发唐奖永续发展奖，请奥马尔雅基教授到台前。
Professor Omar Yaghi, may I now ask you to step forward to receive the prize from the hands of Professor Liu.
恭请刘院士颁发奖章给奥马尔雅基教授。
Professor Liu, please present the Tang Prize Medal to Professor Omar Yaghi.
恭请刘院士颁发得奖证书。
Professor Liu, please now present the Tang Prize Diploma.
请颁奖人与得奖人共同合影。
We would now like to invite the award presenter and also the laureate for a photograph.
谢谢刘院士，请回座。
Thank you, Professor Liu. Please be seated.
我们有请奥马尔雅基教授致辞。
And now we would like to invite Professor Omar Yagi to deliver his remarks.
Thank you very much. Standing here today, I am filled with immense gratitude and humility as I accept this prestigious honor. I want to express my deepest appreciation to the Tang Foundation, the selection committees, the organizers of this celebration, and especially Dr. Jesse Chern for his leadership and hospitality. I want to express also my heartfelt appreciation to Dr. Samuel Yin and Dr. Chung Yao Yin, whose vision for a better world is truly inspiring and deeply moving. I wish to thank my present and former many students, postdoctoral fellows, and research collaborators, one of whom is here today, Professor Jennifer Shays, whose dedication to shared passion for experimentation and experimenting made all the difference and made my scientific journey exciting and worthwhile. I am truly honored to join the distinguished scholars who have received this award in years past. Dear friends and distinguished guests, as I reflect on my journey, I am reminded that life seldom offers perfect conditions. We often find ourselves waiting for the right moment, the right resources, or the right circumstances to begin pursuing our dreams. But if there is one thing my life has taught me, it's that waiting for the ideal conditions can often mean waiting forever. The key is to start wherever you are, with whatever you have, and to trust that with sound thinking, the journey will shape itself as you move forward. I was born into a refugee family, and like many who face daunting odds, the path to success was far from guaranteed. My parents worked tirelessly to provide for our large family, despite having little formal education. We didn't have much, but what we did have was their love and care and the determination to keep moving forward even when the road ahead was uncertain. My break in life came, as you just heard, at the age of 10 when I found myself slipping into my school's library, which was supposed to be closed at the time. Inside, I stumbled upon drawings of what I later learned were chemical structures. The drawings weren't grand or extraordinary in the eyes of others, but to me, they were beautiful and filled with possibility. That small, seemingly insignificant moment sparked a passion within me for chemistry that has guided my entire life. I didn't wait for the perfect conditions to pursue that passion. I couldn't. Instead, I allowed myself to be drawn into the work, experimenting, learning, and growing along the way. Over time, this passion led me to create new materials such as MOFs, COFs, ZIFs, materials that have changed the way we think about chemistry and materials and are having a significant impact on clean air, clean energy, and clean water and sustainability. Without the power of the experiment and the will to experiment, this wouldn't be possible. I believe that the potential for innovation and progress lies within each of us, but it's up to us to activate it. This doesn't require grand beginnings or ideal circumstances. It requires the courage to start and the willingness to do the experiment, even in the face of uncertainty. Every step forward, no matter how small, creates momentum that can lead to something truly extraordinary. As I stand here today accepting this award, I do so not just for myself, but for everyone who has ever felt that their beginnings were too humble to make a difference. My journey is proof that remarkable things can emerge from the most unremarkable beginnings. In closing, I want to emphasize the importance of giving back and inspiring the next generation. Our world needs individuals who are willing to start, to experiment, and to discover, even when conditions aren't perfect. This is why my research group has established centers in countries around the world, including Vietnam, Malaysia, Jordan, to mention a few. These centers are places where those who face slim odds can find a love for discovery, be transformed by science, and become agents of positive change in society. To everyone here today, I express my deepest gratitude. Thank you.
谢谢，并且恭喜雅基教授，请回座。
Thank you and congratulations to Professor Yagi. Please be seated.
唐奖所表彰的生技医药领域，是在表彰具有原创性的生物医学及药物研发的科学研究，对于重要疾病的预防、诊断还有治疗都有明确的影响。以生技医药解决人类疾病的问题，有助于人类健康的增进。
The Tang Prize in Biopharmaceutical Science recognizes original biopharmaceutical or biomedical research that has led to significant advances towards preventing, diagnosing, and or treating major human diseases to improve human health.
2024唐奖生技医药奖颁给乔尔哈本能、斯维特兰那莫伊索夫以及严斯祖尔霍斯特，请观赏3位得奖人的介绍短片。
The 2024 Tang Prize in Biopharmaceutical Science is awarded to Joel Habener, Svetlana Moisov, and Jens Juhl Holst. Ladies and gentlemen, now a video about the Tang Prize laureates in biopharmaceutical science.
In the early 20th century, the concept of incretins was taking shape. Scientists realized the intestines may secrete hormones that cause insulin release and regulate blood sugar levels, but their nature and functions remained a mystery. In the early 1980s, Professor Joel Habener at Harvard Medical School, when cloning the pre-pro-glucagon gene from anglerfish, found it contained another peptide sequence.
Which was very much of a mystery and a surprise, and it was not glucagon, but it was very close to glucagon. We called it glucagon-related peptide.
Later, he cloned this highly conserved gene from mammals and discovered glucagon-like peptide 1, GLP-1. Its role was identified by Professor Svetlana Moisov, head of peptide synthesis core facility at Mass General Hospital. When she saw the 37 amino acid sequence of GLP-1, she saw the 6th as a possible cleavage site.
If one is to cleave that arginine residues, there will be a shorter peptide of 30 amino acids, which I called 7 to 37. And I predicted that that's going to be the active sequence.
She later proved her hypothesis and synthesized GLP-1 7 to 37. In 1986 and 87, Moisov and Habener published 2 major papers demonstrating that truncated GLP-1 7 to 37 is bioactive in inducing insulin release and isn't an incretin. At about the same time, Professor Jens Juhl Holst at the University of Copenhagen also identified GLP-1. Holst found that after GI surgery, patients' insulin rose while blood sugar dropped, attributing it to incretins.
We purified the real peptide from the body of humans, and purified it and put it on the pancreas, and it worked, and it turned out to be the same peptide, of course.
The 3 scientists together confirmed that GLP-1 7 to 37 had great potential for diabetes treatment, but the problem was GLP-1's short half-life. After more collaboration in R&D, a GLP-1 receptor agonist was developed. Such agonists were also found to aid in weight loss, sparking a revolution in treating diabetes and obesity.
Addressing the glucose, but you're also modulating weight loss, energy utilization, appetite, gastric emptying, and a number of different things. So for the first time, we have something that has multiple effects that modify the disease process.
Since GLP-1 receptors are present in several organs, the drugs may be applicable to cardiovascular diseases and cancer as well. The future of GLP-1-based therapeutics is bright. The biomedical contributions of these three scientists are truly far-reaching.
我们有请生技医药奖评委会召集人张文昌院士介绍3位得奖人。
Introducing the Tang Prize laureates in Biopharmaceutical Science is Chair of the Selection Committee, Professor Zhang Wenchang. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Zhang to the stage.
Welcome, everyone. The spotlight of the 2024 Tang Prize in Biopharmaceutical Science is on a small peptide called GLP-1 7-37. The impact of the discoveries of the three laureates is huge, as there are more than 500 million diabetic patients and nearly 1 billion individuals with obesity in the world. In type 2 diabetes, beta cells of the pancreas do not secrete enough insulin, and the body does not respond to insulin properly, and causing high blood sugar levels and leading to severe complications. Obesity increases the risk of various health conditions and diseases, which is regarded as one of the biggest global public health issues. Fortunately, GLP-1-based drugs have been used to treat diabetes and obesity, already benefits hundreds of millions of users with great future prospects. This is an example story of translating basic research into pharmaceutical success with major impacts on human health. The journey of the exciting discovery began with the cloning of the anglerfish preproglucagon gene in early 80s by Dr. Joe Hebner. He discovered this precursor protein contains glucagon and another glucagon-related peptide, so-called GRP. Cloning of rat preproglucagon gene showed that it contained glucagon and two additional peptides designated GLP-1 and GLP-2. And that the anglerfish GRP is a GLP-1. Dr. Svetlana Mochsov later identified the active form of intestinal GLP-1 to be GLP-1 7-37. She collaborated with Dr. Hebner to show that GLP-1 7-37 can induce insulin release from the pancreas rather than the entire GLP-1. This is an important discovery that identifies GLP-1 as one of the long sought after incretins. Dr. Hebner, Dr. Mochsov, and their collaborators show in healthy and type 2 diabetic human subjects that GLP-1 7-37 is insulinotropic, paving the way for clinical application. Independently, Dr. James O. Host also isolated and identified GLP-1, and subsequently GLP-1 7-36 amide as an active incretin. His lab characterized the biology and physiology of GLP-1 7 to 37, demonstrated its therapeutic potential, and has been actively involved in developing anti-diabetic drugs. During clinical trials, it was found that patients received this type of drug had tendencies of weight loss. Dr. Host reported that GLP-1 7 to 37 inhibits gastric acid release and slows down gastric emptying. At present, there are at least 13 GLP-1 receptor agonist drugs approved by the FDA for treating diabetes and/or obesity. Today, we are honoring the three brilliant scientists, Dr. Hamner, Dr. Mojsov, and Dr. Host, who laid the foundation of this remarkable story with key groundbreaking discoveries. They are credited for the discovery of GLP-1 7 to 37 as an insulinotropic factor and the development of GLP-1 7 to 37 rebased diabetic and anti-obesity drugs. Dr. Joe Hamner received his MD degree from UCLA, USA. He joined Harvard Medical School in 1971 and rose to professor of medicine in 1975. He also served as chief of the Laboratory of Molecular Endocrinology, Massachusetts General Hospital from 1979 to 2023. He is a member of the National Academy of Science, USA. Dr. Svetlana Mojsov received her PhD in biochemistry at Rockefeller University, USA in 1978. From 1983 to 1990, she was instructor in medicine at Harvard Medical School and an assistant in biochemistry at Massachusetts General Hospital. Presently, she is a research associate professor at the Rockefeller University. Dr. Jens-Jo Host received his MD degree from the University of Copenhagen, Denmark, in 1978. He joined the faculty of the University of Copenhagen in the same year and rose to professor of physiology in 1989. He was scientific director of Novo Nordisk Foundation Center for Basic Metabolic Research from 2010 to 2020. He is presently the senior group leader of the Novo Nordisk Foundation Center for Basic Metabolic Research at the University of Copenhagen. On behalf of the Tang Prize Selection Committee for Biopharmaceutical Science, I would like to invite everyone here to give our warmest applause. And appreciation to these three remarkable scientists. Thank you.
谢谢张院士，请张院士留步。
Thank you, Professor Zhang. Please remain on stage.
接下来我们要颁发唐奖生技医药奖，请乔尔哈本能教授领奖代表人王慧君院士、斯维特兰那莫伊索夫教授领奖代表人黄福灿名誉教授，以及严斯祖尔霍斯特教授到台前。
Professor Wang Huijun, Professor Fulton Huang, and Professor Jens Juhl Host, may I now ask you to step forward to receive the prize from the hands of Professor Zhang.
恭请张院士颁发奖章给乔尔哈本能教授领奖代表人王慧君院士。
Professor Zhang, please present the Tang Prize Medal to Professor Wang Huijun, who will accept the prize on behalf of Professor Joel Habener.
恭请张院士颁发得奖证书。
Please now present the Tang Prize Diploma.
恭请张院士颁发奖章给司维特兰那莫依索夫教授领奖代表人黄福灿名誉教授。
Professor Zhang, please now present the Tang Prize Medal to Professor Fulton Wang, who will accept the prize on behalf of Professor Svilana Moisov.
恭请张院士颁发得奖证书。
And Professor Zhang, please present the Tang Prize Diploma.
恭请张院士颁发奖章给严斯祖尔霍斯特教授。
And Professor Zhang, now please present the Tang Prize Medal to Professor Jens Jules Host. 请张院士颁发得奖证书。 Professor Zhang, please now present the Tang Prize Diploma.
请颁奖人以及3位贵宾共同合影。
We would now like to invite the 4 guests to stand together for a group photo.
谢谢，并且恭喜3位得奖人，请回座。
Thank you and congratulations. Please be seated.
我们有请乔尔哈本能教授致辞。
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite Professor Joel Habener to deliver his remarks.
Good morning, everybody. I'm very pleased to be here today. I'm deeply honored by being selected as one of the prestigious 2024 Tang Prize laureates in biopharmaceutical science. I thank the Tang Prize Committee for selecting me for this award. It's very gratifying indeed to receive the peer recognition for my contributions to the discovery of GLP-1 and to see that these contributions are helping to alleviate illness in people throughout the world.
谢谢，并且恭喜哈本能教授。
Thank you and congratulations to Professor Habener.
有请斯维特兰那莫伊索夫教授致辞。
And now we would like to invite Professor Svilana Moisov to deliver her remarks.
Esteemed members of the Tang Prize Foundation, honored guests, fellow laureates, it is a tremendous honor to receive the Tang Prize for my contribution to the discovery of GLP-1. My interest in the role of peptides in regulating glucose metabolism and development of peptide-based therapeutics goes back to the 1970s when I was a graduate student with Professor Bruce Merrifield at the Rockefeller University in New York. We were interested in glucagon biology, and Merrifield's method of solid phase synthesis was the method of choice to obtain glucagon analogs and inhibitors. During my doctoral and postdoctoral work, I developed synthetic approaches that produce pure synthetic glucagon in high yields. By the time I completed these studies, I knew glucagon sequence backwards and forwards. My understanding of the glucagon sequence and biology were critical to the insights that led to my discovery that the active sequence of GLP-1 is a 31 amino acid long peptide, and not a longer one predicted by Graham Bell and other investigators in the field. I also hypothesized that the 31 amino acid long GLP-1 7 to 37 would be an incretin, or a peptide secreted in the intestines in response to a meal that would stimulate insulin release from the pancreas. In the fall of 1983, in my laboratory at the endocrine unit at the Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston, I started to synthesize GLP-1 peptides and began to develop sensitive methods that allowed me to detect GLP-1 7-37 in rat intestinal extracts. I then initiated productive collaborations with Dr. Joel Hubner and David Nathan from the Massachusetts General Hospital and Dr. Gordon Weir from the Joslin Diabetes Center in Boston. Our collaborative studies established that GLP-1 7-37 was an incretin and that had therapeutic potential for treatment of type 2 diabetes. 25 years after we published our findings, Novo Nordisk's pharmaceutical company developed long-lasting injectable GLP-1 analog, liraglutide, and later on semaglutide, as new treatments for diabetes and obesity. This and other GLP-1 analogs developed by different pharmaceutical companies impact the lives of millions of people. The Tang Prize ceremony will always have a special meaning for me because my esteemed colleague and classmate from graduate school, Dr. Fulton Wong, is accepting this recognition on my behalf. Dr. Wong and I were graduate students in the 1970s at the Rockefeller University in New York. We came from different countries and different continents, but shared the same goal, to learn science and to do science, to impact knowledge and improve human health. I am especially grateful to the Tang Prize Foundation for recognizing my contribution to the discovery of GLP-1, a journey that I started 40 years ago at the endocrine unit at the Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston. Thank you very, very much.
谢谢，并且恭喜莫伊索夫教授。
Thank you and congratulations to Professor Boysoff.
接下来，我们有请严斯祖尔霍斯特教授致辞。
And now we would like to invite Professor Jens Juul Holst to the stage to deliver his remarks.
Dear Tang Prize Committee, dear all, let me start by thanking you for selecting the discovery of GLP-1 for this prize. For me, this story started back in the early 1970s when I was training in GI surgery. Some of our surgical patients developed low blood glucose after meal intake. This was clearly due to exaggerated release of insulin after the meals, so some factor from the gut was responsible for this, and my ambition was to find that factor. This led me to focus on the so-called incretin effect and hormones, which is the amplification of insulin secretion, which occurs when nutrients are taken in orally as compared to intravenously. I quickly focused on certain cells in the gut which were reacting with antibodies against glucagon, the pancreatic hormone glucagon, because this was already known to cause insulin secretion. But the molecules in the gut cells was not glucagon. In the course of the following years, we managed to identify that factor. It was not glucagon, it was the biosynthetic precursor of glucagon. But this one did not stimulate insulin secretion and turned out to represent only half of the real precursor. With the new techniques of molecular biology, it became possible to predict the structure of the full precursor. And there, in the other half of the precursor, as you've already heard, was a stretch which was glucagon-related. On the basis of this information, we in my laboratory managed to extract and determine the correct sequence of the natural glucagon-like peptide. And we found that the natural peptide that we could extract out from the gut of people and pigs actually was a powerful stimulator of insulin secretion. This is how GLP-1 came to Copenhagen. From that time, I decided to devote all my energy to find out what this new peptide does in the body normally, and to see if its activity could be useful in the treatment of diseases. It was a great revelation to discover that infusions of this peptide could completely normalize blood glucose in people with type 2 diabetes, and also to reduce appetite and food intake. With the help of the pharmaceutical industry, these effects have now been made available to millions of people, and not only to provide effective treatment of obesity and type 2 diabetes, but also, and more importantly, to reduce the complications of diabetes and obesity, and also the premature mortality. I'm so happy about this development, and I'm extremely grateful to the committee that they have selected this molecule for the Tang Prize. Thank you very much.
谢谢，并且恭喜霍斯特教授，请回座。
Thank you and congratulations to Professor Host. Please be seated.
唐奖所讲述的汉学，它的意思是指广义的汉学，包括研究中国以及相关的学术，像是思想、历史、文字、语言、考古、哲学、宗教、经学、文学以及艺术等等不同的领域。本奖旨在表彰汉学领域的成就，并且彰显中华文化对人类文明发展的贡献。
The Tang Prize in Sinology recognizes the study of sinology in its broadest sense, awarding research on China and its related fields, such as Chinese thought, history, philology, linguistics, archaeology, philosophy, religion, traditional canons, literature, and art. Honoring achievements and innovations in the field of sinology, the prize showcases Chinese culture and its contributions to the development of human civilization.
唐奖第6届汉学奖颁发给许倬云，请观赏得奖人介绍短片。
The 2024 Tang Prize in Sinology is awarded to Xu Zhuoyun. Ladies and gentlemen, now a video about the Tang Prize laureate in Sinology.
许倬云 was born in 1930 in Fujian. As a child, he was uprooted by war. Fields and barns, not books and desks.
是我理解的农业的每一个细节，也因此到了后来，我能写汉代农业，别的读书人写不出来。
He entered National Taiwan University. His instruction under outstanding scholars gave him a solid foundation in sinology. At the University of Chicago, he was exposed to many fields.
说我们要掌握许多考古学的知识、宗教学的知识、社会的知识、经济方面演变的过程。
Back in Taiwan, Xu worked at Academia Sinica and taught at NTU. His scholarly integrity had him at odds with authority. He left Taiwan to teach at the University of Pittsburgh. Western Zhou Civilization, co-authored with Catherine Linduff, depicts the era of the Mandate of Heaven.
At the time, thought of as a kind of primitive period in Chinese history. But I hope we showed that it was fundamental.
Xu looked at kinship groups, the bureaucratic system, and intensive farming, forming the three matrices of Chinese culture. He further elucidated that farming and pastoralism gave rise to differing worldviews.
我们发展的这个天人合一的人生观，他们呢是斗争，不是我活着你死。
His scholarship is vast, his works numerous. In his 90s, he wrote Reorienting China, seeing massive changes in geopolitics. He uses the Chinese cultural essence to edify the world.
我们不是讲的个人主义，我们也不必讲国家主义，更不要讲集体的社会主义。我们要讲的人跟人之间的关心。
Xu, in his heart of hearts, believes only by seeing human and divine as one can we truly advance toward oneness in the world.
我们有请汉学奖评委会召集人王德威院士介绍得奖人。
Introducing the Tang Prize laureate in Sinology is the chair of the selection committee, Professor David Thurway Wong.
Good afternoon, distinguished laureates, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor and a pleasure for me to introduce Dr. Xu Zhuoyun. recipient of the 2024 Tang Prize in the category of Sinology. The prize is awarded to Professor Hyu for his outstanding scholarship in Chinese historical studies. His unwavering engagement with the cultural and intellectual communication between China and the whole world, and his amazing capacity to broach contemporary issues from the perspective of antiquity. Professor Hyu received his PhD degree at the University of Chicago, and he has taught at the National Taiwan University and the University of Pittsburgh. He is also affiliated with Academia Sinica for many years. Indeed, for the past 60 years, he has been working nonstop as a scholar, an educator, and a public intellectual. As a historian, Professor Hyu specializes in ancient Chinese history of the Zhou and the Qing and the Han dynasties, which means he took us way back to Chinese civilization of 2,000, 3,000, or even 4,000 years ago. As early as the 1960s, Professor Hyu led the trend by applying the methodology of social sciences to ancient Chinese historical studies. He integrated the disciplines from archaeology to anthropology, social sciences, socioeconomics, transportation studies, environmental studies, and even geological studies into his work. Thus, he's able to offer a truly comprehensive and interdisciplinary view of how the academic can come to better understand the way the ancients lived and worked, ruled, and thought. In recent years, Professor Hyu has also dedicated himself to enhance the world's understanding of the cultural and the social and intellectual dynamics of China across different periods and civilizations. He takes issues with questions such as the center versus the periphery, the self and the other, the elite culture and the popular culture. He does not see Chinese history as unilateral, monolithic development, but a complex of multiple trajectories in contestation. Last but not least, Professor Hyu is also a public intellectual. Through his study of the politics, institutions, and the individual vicissitudes of the past, he shows his concerns about the present, not only about Taiwan and China, but also about the whole world. His lectures and the talks, interviews on the internet actually have drawn millions of Chinese viewers or Chinese-speaking viewers all over the world. Indeed, a truly marvelous accomplishment in our time. Besides being a scholar, an educator, and a public intellectual, Professor Hyu has also played a crucial role in promoting Sinologies worldwide. In 1989, together with other prominent sinologists, he founded the CCK Foundation, or Jiangjingguo Jijinghui, for sinological studies. Today, CCK can boast being the most important and the foremost institution in support of sinological studies on behalf of Taiwan. Now, ladies and gentlemen, although Professor Hyu is unable to attend the ceremony today, we believe he's thrilled by the recognition he received from the Tang Prize Foundation. Indeed, Professor Hyu, we are all here to pay our highest respect to your contribution to sinological studies. We salute your profound scholarship, human and humanistic spirit, and above all, a worldly vision. Thank you very much.
谢谢王院士，请王院士留步。接下来颁发唐奖汉学奖，请许倬云院士代表人李建中荣誉教授到台前。
Thank you, Professor Wang. Professor Li Jianzhong, may I now ask you to come forward to receive the prize from the hands of Professor Wang.
恭请王院士颁发奖章给许倬云院士代表人李建中荣誉教授。
Professor Wang, please present the Tang Prize Medal to Professor Li Jianzhong, who will accept the prize on behalf of Professor Xu Zhuoyun.
恭请王院士颁发得奖证书。
Professor Wang, please present the Tang Prize Diploma.
请颁奖人以及得奖人共同合影。
And now we'd like to invite the two guests on stage for a photograph.
谢谢，请回座。
Thank you. Please be seated.
我们有请许倬云院士致辞。
And now we would like to invite Professor Xu Zhuoyun to deliver his remarks.
各位大家先生和女士们，我是许倬云。这一次讲话，我是用这个连线的方式，因为我人在美国，向唐基金会致谢，因为唐基金会选了我做第6届的汉学研究的得奖者。这个荣誉是在我们这个行当里面应当算作世界上第一等了。我得到这个奖诚惶诚恐，不过呢，我觉得得奖的人必定是有所任务。我拿这个任务解释成这样子：唐奖的其他的学门都是跟现实的世界性的、国际性的许多出现的问题有相当关系，比如说永续经营是希望纠正资源不足时的资源的浪费，比如说法治是纠正许多国家以人为治，而不是依法来治国。这些课题、这些学术范围都是唐基金会，尤其是殷老先生特别注意，世界正在走向一个下一步。那世界已经呈现的问题，唐奖愿意鼓励那些有关的项目，提出对有关的课题有解决。那为什么汉学独自一家呢？也在这里说，这汉学是地区性的问题，是中国文化的问题。为什么也列入了世界性的问题？就是呢，假如我解读的适当的话，或者准确的话，我想殷先生和唐奖的委员会有一个盼望，也有个期许，也有个交下的使命，是研究汉学，不是只是中国人关着门自己欣赏自己的文化的渊源，而是要找到中国文明在世界的文明史上占了什么位置，过去占了什么位置，现在占了什么位置，未来占了什么位置。这个期许，我想是设立 Sinology 作为学门主要的原因。因此，我回头想想，我是不是也在这范围之内？我自己向大家跟我报告，我一生做研究，前半生呢，大概是专注在中国问题上，那打下基础；后半生，我无时无刻不在研究中国问题的时候，想到世界性的问题作为背景，想到世界性的问题作为那中国问题提出来之后，有没有相关之处，有没有补救之处，而同时激励自己，也是提醒自己， 我们研究中国是要将中国的成分向世界去报告，使得今天白人专断的世界有非白人的重要的文化体中国，这个中国找到了一些观念，找到了一些执行的过程，使得这个一个文化，中国文化的对于自然、对于法律、对于医疗等等等等，以及对于探索自然，都有一定的可以提出的贡献之处。这个呢，对我自己私下自己对中国学问的许愿，以及我自己想要投身入内，终身为之的目标是一致的。所以我现在再次一次向唐奖会提出这个致谢词说，我可以报告说，我徐某人得这个奖，我自己觉得我得到唐奖会交给我一个使命，我过去所做的有关世界部分得到他们的期许，我将来应该做的是得到唐奖会的许可跟鼓励。这个我想是我谢谢唐奖会的一个最主要的原因。
谢谢，并且恭喜许院士。
Thank you and congratulations to Professor Xu.
唐奖所讲述的法治领域是基于人生而平等的信念，个人包括国家和国际组织都受到法律的规范。唐奖提倡法律应该兼顾正当程序与实体正义，为和平、人权还有永续发展而奋斗，以追求人类及自然的共同福祉为最高目标。唐奖所设置的法治奖是奖助对法治理念或实践有创新，进而对法治的实现贡献卓著的个人或机构。
The Tang Prize in Rule of Law recognizes individuals or institutions who have made significant contributions to the rule of law, reflected not only in the achievement of the candidates in terms of the advancement of legal theory or practice, but also in the realization of the rule of law in contemporary societies through the influences or inspirations of the work of the candidates.
唐奖第6届法治奖颁发给玛丽·罗宾逊，请观赏得奖人介绍短片。
The 2024 Tang Prize in Rule of Law is awarded to Mary Robinson. Ladies and gentlemen, now a video about the laureate in Rule of Law.
On December 3, 1990, Ireland saw its first female president take office. To the still deeply Catholic nation, it was an earth-moving historical moment. Mary Robinson was born in County Mayo, Ireland, to 2 doctors, the only daughter among 4 brothers. Her parents would tell young Mary that she'd have the same opportunities as her brothers, but the reality was much different.
And there were so many discriminations. So my parents were saying one thing, and our society was saying another. And I think that gave me a sense, I'm going to try and make it the way my parents wanted to be.
She strove for social change through legal means. At 25 years old, she became a senator, putting forward several bills on human rights. As a lawyer, she helped secure women's right to sit on juries. Arguing cases before the European Court of Human Rights, she pushed the Irish government on reform in divorce and homosexuality.
I think she returned to the law a real sense of its efficacy and of its ability to defend people. She returned a new dignity to the law in this country.
Her becoming president transformed the role from ceremonial to impactful. She spoke up for the marginalized in her country and globally.
Mary Robinson transformed the role of the president in Irish political life, became a conscience of a nation, a place that people could look to and find their values reflected.
She later was invited to be UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, visiting various countries with human rights issues. As UN Special Envoy on Climate Change, she witnessed the injustices climate change inflicts on the vulnerable and started a foundation for climate justice. She now sits on the Elders as its chair and founding member in her ongoing fight for human rights.
It's extremely important to give people hope, to have the positive narrative, to make it happen, and it will happen.
Just like the title of her autobiography, Mary Robinson believes that everybody matters, and law is the foundation on which she built up that value.
我们有请法治奖评委会前召集人叶俊荣讲座教授介绍得奖人。
Introducing the Tang Prize laureate in Rule of Law is former chair of the selection committee, Ye Junrong. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Ye to the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to introduce to you Professor Mary Robinson as the 2024 Tang Prize laureate in Rule of Law. The 2024 Tang Prize in Rule of Law is a testimony to Professor Robinson's exceptional contribution to the rule of law. Professor Robinson has constantly shown to the world her powerful advocacy on behalf of the most disadvantaged, and her passion and endurance demonstrated a smart combination of legal acumen and practical solution to enhance rights and justice. From national to global stage, legal and political, she innovatively transformed the various positions she has served to strengthen the rule of law. Professor Robinson began her career as a human rights lawyer and a law professor. As a lawyer, she is well known for her important insights in numerous landmark cases on gender equality and personal autonomy before the Domestic Court of Ireland and the European Court of Human Rights. Her passion to advance these rights has never faded away despite facing a relatively conservative social context. This is further shown when she sat in the Senate, where she bravely proposed reformative bills on sensitive issues such as gender equality, family law, and reproductive rights. Professor Robinson's work ranged from legal to political realm. When she became the first women president of Ireland, she innovatively reinterpreted this largely ceremonial position and brought real impact at home and abroad. Her commitment to human rights further expanded from national and regional law to international law. When she served as the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, she traveled around the world and drew global attention to the most marginalized who fought strong position on sensitive human rights violation and worked to integrate human rights into the UN system. Currently the chair of the Elders, an independent group of global leaders, Professor Robinson constantly makes most of her international participation while placing equal attention on local ownership. The issues she has addressed include human rights, responsibilities of private sectors, rights of child, justice and gender dimensions of climate change, poverty alleviation, regional peace, etc. And all these commitments have not stopped her academic work. As an adjunct professor at Trinity College Dublin, her scholarship and practice reinforce each other and continue to inspire young generation. Professor Robinson's tireless effort in support of the rule of law and the impact she has brought to the world could hardly be summarized in a brief introduction. The evolution of her role has shown us a figure who dare to bring changes through law in an innovative way. It is an honor, ladies and gentlemen, to present her with the 2024 Tang Prize in Rule of Law. Thank you very much.
谢谢叶教授，请叶教授留步。
Thank you, Professor Ye. Please remain on stage.
接下来颁发唐奖法治奖，请玛丽罗宾逊教授到台前。
Professor Mary Robinson, may I now ask you to step forward to receive the prize from the hands of Professor Ye.
恭请叶教授颁发奖章给玛丽罗宾逊教授。
Professor Ye, please present the Tang Prize Medal to Professor Mary Robinson.
恭请叶教授颁发得奖证书。
Professor Ye, please present the Tang Prize Diploma.
请颁奖人以及得奖人共同合影。
And now we'd like to invite the two guests for a photograph.
谢谢叶教授，请回座。
Thank you, Professor Ye. Please be seated.
有请玛丽罗宾逊教授致辞。
Professor Mary Robinson, please deliver your remarks.
It is truly a great honor, and I also feel humbled to receive the 2024 Tang Prize in Rule of Law. I'm grateful to the Tang Prize Foundation and Selection Committee for this recognition. I also warmly congratulate my fellow laureates being honored this year. It was a delight to know that I was joining a group of distinguished previous recipients who've done so much to advance human rights and respect for the rule of law in their own countries and around the world. Their work should serve as a reminder that advancing respect for the rule of law is an ongoing task and a shared responsibility that remains crucial today, perhaps more so than at any point in our lifetime. And this is so for two main reasons. First, because we face multiple global crises where established as well as still emerging legal standards and institutions are critical to collective responses. Legal systems and governing institutions that fully adhere to rule of law principles play a key role in addressing our most pressing challenges, from halting the climate and nature crisis, to tackling the dangers of global pandemics, to ending armed conflict and violence in countries around the world. Second, the rule of law is so critical today because living up to the tenets of this principle is a prerequisite for healing divided societies, rebuilding a fractured world order, and forging consensus on how to bring about human security for all. The tragic reality is, despite its vital importance, over recent decades, the rule of law itself has been increasingly questioned and threatened. A growing number of authoritarian and divisively nationalist leaders have taken steps to undermine or dismantle rule of law norms as a way to strengthen their own positions and weaken accountability and inclusive governance at home and internationally. The authority of law and the shared ideal of rule of law as a foundation to protect against arbitrary use of governmental power continue to be severely eroded with devastating consequences. In my laureate speech, I've asked and tried to respond to three questions. What has brought us to this point when the foundational principle of rule of law, seen for so long as being at the core of global efforts to advance human rights and sustainable development, has been undermined and threatened? What lessons must be learned from past and present actions that by design or unintended consequence have resulted in a weakening of respect for rule of law practices, both nationally and globally? And last but not least, What can leaders do, individually and collectively, to move the world in a new and more hopeful direction, in which rule of law is once again viewed as a core element of accountable governance systems, dedicated to achieving a peaceful, just, and sustainable planet for all? And equally important, what can all of us as citizens do to hold our leaders accountable and stand up for good governance and respect for rule of law at home and around the world? I must confess that it's been a challenge to rise to the defense of rule of law in our world today, but a challenge I have taken on with total conviction. Indeed, receiving an award in the name of rule of law is the greatest honor I could think of, and I again offer you my warm personal thank you. Thank you very much.
谢谢，并且恭喜罗宾逊教授，请留步。
Thank you and congratulations to Professor Robinson. Please remain on stage.
最后，我们邀请所有得奖人及尹崇尧博士、翁启惠院士、陈振川执行长、刘兆汉院士、张文昌院士、王德威院士、叶俊荣教授以及王启凡董事长到台上合影留念。
Finally, we would like to invite all the laureates and Dr. Ying, Academician Wong, Professor Chen, Professor Liu, Professor Zhang, Professor Wang, Professor Ye, and Chairperson Wang to please come up for a photograph for our friends from the media.
请各位贵宾在工作人员的协助下到达自己的位置。
So our staff will be guiding you to your positions.
我们请贵宾们看向前方亮灯的摄影机，为今天这个荣耀的时刻留下美好回忆。
Please look into the camera in front of you as we capture this glorious moment, and remember to smile.
谢谢各位与会贵宾。
Thank you. Thank you very much.
稍后的音乐会将会由林天吉指挥领衔台北爱乐管弦乐团演出的曲目一共有3首，分别是以贝多芬的《费代里奥序曲》作为开场，第2首是鲍元凯的《宜兰童谣》，最后再以舒伯特的第9号交响曲第1乐章作为结尾。
Later in the concert, the Taipei Philharmonic Orchestra will be led by conductor Mr. Ling Tianqi. The concert program consists of 3 pieces, opening with Beethoven's Overture to Fidelio. The second piece is composed by Bao Yuankai called Yilan Children's Ditty. And the concert ends with the first movement of Schubert's Majestic Symphony No. 9.
现在进入中场休息时间，音乐会将在4点35分开始。
This is now time for the intermission. The concert will begin at 4:35.
各位贵宾以及现场的观众朋友，这里是第6届唐奖颁奖典礼。今天的音乐会将由台北爱乐管弦乐团演奏。
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, online viewers, esteemed laureates, today's concert will be performed by the Taipei Philharmonic Orchestra.
台北爱乐管弦乐团创立于1985年，是由前美国芝加哥交响乐团副指挥亨利·梅哲先生担任创团的音乐总监。从小规模的室内乐编制，逐步打造出成完整规模的管弦乐团。
The Taipei Philharmonic Orchestra owes its legacy to the late Henry Mazer, former associate conductor of the renowned Chicago Symphony Orchestra, who founded the ensemble in 1985 and served as its first principal director and chief conductor. Since its humble beginnings as a chamber music ensemble, the Taipei Philharmonic Orchestra has grown into a full-fledged orchestra.
现今由梅哲先生嫡传弟子林天吉先生担任首席指挥，深得梅哲先生精髓的音乐诠释以及对音色美感的要求，开展古典音乐的美好。
Today, Mr. Mazer's protege, Paul Lin Tianqi, serves as the resident conductor, upholding the orchestra's commitment to exquisite musical interpretation and the spirit and the pursuit of sonic beauty in classical music.
演出曲目一共有3首，分别是以贝多芬的《费代里奥序曲》作为开场，第2首是鲍元凯的《宜兰童谣》，以脍炙人口的《丢丢当啊》及《天哦哦》的旋律改写，最后再以舒伯特的第9号交响曲第1乐章作为结尾。
The concert program consists of 3 pieces, opening with Beethoven's Overture to Fidelio, and the second piece is composed by Bao Yuankai, called Yilan Children's Ditty, a reinterpretation of beloved Taiwanese folk songs, Diu Diu Dang A and Ti O O. The concert ends with the first movement of Schubert's majestic Symphony No. 9.
现在就让我们一起欢迎林天吉指挥。
Ladies and gentlemen, let us now welcome conductor Mr. Lin Tianqi.
再次感谢台北爱乐管弦乐团带来的精彩演出。
Thank you once again to the musicians from Taipei Philharmonic Orchestra and conductor Mr. Lin Tianji.
乐团他们的习惯就是说指挥会出来谢字，对不对？我们家
各位贵宾以及与会的各位观众朋友，唐奖第6届颁奖典礼到此圆满结束。
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this concludes the Tang Prize Award ceremony.
最后再次恭贺2024年唐奖得奖人，另外也特别感谢各位的参与，以及一直以来支持唐奖的朋友，让我们一起期待2026年的唐奖。谢谢。
Once again, we would like to extend our congratulations to all the laureates and also to thank you for your participation. Our gratitude also goes to those of you that have supported the causes behind the Tang Prize. We look forward to the 2026 Tang Prize. Thank you very much and goodbye.